In a cramped rooftop room above a noisy, filthy neighborhood, a young man slurps instant ramen and counts the coins of his failures. His name is Bong Joo-hyuk, 25 years old, drowning in debt, working 3 part-time jobs, and convinced that life has nothing brighter in store for him than another shift and another overdue payment. Then, without warning, a voice calls his name. Bong Joo-hyuk, you have awakened. Pain flares, confusion crashes over him, and a status window appears before his eyes, declaring him a player of the Black Tower with the trait Summon. In a world where awakenings are rarer than winning the lottery, they're also far more deadly, for the tower devours the reckless with monsters, traps, poison, and fire. Joo-hyuk, a self-proclaimed coward who avoids walking under construction scaffolds, knows this better than anyone. He has spent his life lecturing himself on how not to die. Curious and shaken, he tries out his skill, Random Summon, despite the common knowledge that skills do not work outside the tower. Yet the air splits, light flares, and from nothing steps not a spirit, not a golem, but a man. Grinning like he has known ramen and television all his life, this stranger casually asks for a bite of noodles, coughs on mild udon as if it's some infernal spice, and immediately brands himself in Joo-hyuk's mind as a one-bite moocher. But when Joo-hyuk checks his status, the truth slams into him. This is no ordinary man, but an SR rank human summon. John Cossack, the mad assassin of the Cruel Assassins Guild, famed for a 99% mission success rate and the murder of a powerful warlock. A new set of rules etches itself into Joo-hyuk's vision. The 3 principles of the summoned. The summon must protect the summoner's life above all, must absolutely obey any order, and if those clash, protection comes first. To test this disturbing obedience, the timid debtor gives the legendary assassin the most humiliating tasks he can think of. Wash the ramen pot, wipe the table, even bark like a dog, and the mad assassin obeys, swiftly, perfectly, almost cheerfully, spinning on all fours with utter submission, proving that his terrifying loyalty is no bluff. At the door pounds another monster, one far more familiar than anything in the tower, a loan shark from the Smile Cash. The illegal lenders who own Joo-hyuk's future, his blood, and even his family's safety. Terrified of what an assassin might do, Joo-hyuk orders Cossack to hide in the bathroom, not move a muscle, and keep silent. The killer obeys to the letter. On the other side of the thin door, the collector smiles with venom, jokes about selling organs, and muses aloud about how much more a younger brother would fetch on the market. Joo-hyuk, powerless and shaking, can only apologize, transfer the interest he scraped together, and swallow his rage. When the door finally slams shut, exhaustion crushes him. A double shift, an awakening, a human summon, and a brush with the underworld all in one day. For a moment, the mad assassin feels less like a weapon and more like a strange roommate. Cossack asks if he can watch TV, and fills the cramped room with the ordinary sound of someone else breathing and reacting, turning Joo-hyuk's lonely rooftop into a place that feels almost warm. As sleep drags Joo-hyuk under, he thinks how comforting it is not to be alone, even if just for 6 hours. Morning comes, the alarm screams, and a message confirms what he already senses. John Cossack has been unsummoned. The duration is over. Then the news broadcast cuts through his drowsiness like a blade. In Jongno-gu, at the office of an illegal private lender called Smile Cash, 3 people have been found, decapitated, their severed heads carefully decorated with red ribbons like grotesque presents. The name of the company, the number of victims, the grisly wrapping, it all snaps together in Joo-hyuk's mind with icy clarity. The same Smile Cash that owns his debt, the same men who laughed about selling organs, now lie dead, their ends echoing the twisted gifts from the assassin's final memory. In that instant, Bong Joo-hyuk understands the truth. He has not summoned a quirky companion or a harmless helper. He is bound to himself a psychopathically loyal murderer. The morning after the Red Ribbon murders, the city wakes to a bizarre news headline. Bong Joo-hyuk stares at the screen, at the words Smile Cash murder case, and knows with sick certainty that the unseen killer behind it is his own summon, John Cossack. At the convenience store counter, a customer asks him to ring up his items. He was the loan shark with his gang asking to ring the head. Our MC was terrified by this, but then he wake up to reality. It was a girl, she calls out again, jolting him. His mind runs circles. Those men died because of him, or at least because of his existence as Cossack's summoner. By the time his shift ends, he knows he cannot go on like this. He decides to take the next day off from all 3 of his jobs, just to breathe and think. Back in his room, he opens the catalog entry again. There it is in plain text. John Cossack, SR grade human assassin, mad assassin of the Cruel Guild, with a 6-hour manifestation limit and 3-hour Resumon cooldown. He really was a mad assassin, Ju Hyuk mutters to himself. Kosak may be bound by the system not to harm his summoner, but that does not make sitting across from a cheerful serial killer any less terrifying. Determined to confront the situation, Ju Hyuk chooses designated summon, John Kosak. Before the summon completes, a prompt appears, asking him to leave a satisfaction rating by pressing stars with his finger. The catalog's satisfaction rating field suddenly makes sense. He remembers how Kosak casually slaughtered people while Ju Hyuk was just watching TV, with no explicit command. Part of him wants to give the assassin 1 star for the massive trouble he has caused a regular guy like him, but Ju Hyuk hesitates. His mother once worked as a coordinator for a water purifier rental company, where low customer satisfaction ratings were crushing, and that memory keeps his finger from hitting rock bottom. In the end, he taps out 3 stars and the system chimes. Kosak's satisfaction rating is now set to 3. The assassin materializes with a burst of energy, standing at attention. Reporting for duty. It's a pleasure to see you again. Thank you for the 3 stars. I'll work even harder. Tentatively, Ju Hyuk asks the question he has been dreading. Those men who came to his house yesterday, the collectors from Smile Cash, did Kosak kill them? Yes, Kosak answers without hesitation. He took care of them right before he was unsummoned. Ju Hyuk's heart lurches. The TV murderer, the unseen psychopath behind the bizarre case. That is the man standing in front of him, smiling like a loyal dog. He forces himself to calm down, reminding himself that at least Kosak cannot hurt him. Then he asks the next practical question. How did Kosak even know where their office was? Kosak explains, almost proudly, that he planted a tracker's mark on the loan sharks when they barged into Ju Hyuk's home. It is a skill, he says, used because they were a threat. Why go that far? Ju Hyuk demands. Kosak answers with chilling logic. It is best to eliminate threats in advance. Ju Hyuk protests that he never ordered any of this. Kosak simply points to the 3rd clause of the 3 principles of the summon. The principles say, the summon must protect the summoner's life above all else. The summon must absolutely obey the summoner's orders. If those conflict protection takes precedence, if Ju Hyuk ordered him to kill his own summoner, for example, Kosak would disobey. That, he confirms, is how the system works. But there was no immediate danger from the collectors, Ju Hyuk argues. Wasn't killing them purely Kosak's judgment? Kosak admits that the 3rd clause can be interpreted in many ways. From his perspective, those men were a future threat that would eventually endanger Ju Hyuk's life, so eliminating them now was perfectly reasonable. To Ju Hyuk, it is not reasonable at all. It is psychotic. Kosak only smiles gently and says he hears that a lot. Ju Hyuk understands the logic, but that understanding only deepens his dread. He imagines walking down a crowded street with Kosak at his side and accidentally bumping shoulders with some rough local. The stranger might snap, "You wanna die? I'll gouge your eyes out," the kind of empty street threat people throw around without meaning it. But to a man like Kosak, who filters everything through protect the summoner's life, that could become justification for a preemptive execution and another ribboned head. Suddenly, Kosak drops to his knees, apologizing. He calls it his fault, but Ju Hyuk orders him to get up and listen carefully. Murdering people doesn't help me. In fact, it could drag him into immense trouble, legally and morally. He demands a promise. Unless there is a knife literally at his throat, Kosak is not to kill people based on mere suspicion. Kosak hesitates, saying he cannot truly promise such a thing, but finally salutes and claims he will use his best judgment. That, of course, is exactly what worries Ju Hyuk. Kosak's judgment is the problem. As the conversation shifts, Kosak asks if Ju Hyuk has considered climbing the tower. The question lands heavily. After all, awakening is supposed to be a once-in-a-lifetime chance, and the tower is where fortunes and legends are made. Ju Hyuk admits the opportunity is real, but he also admits plainly that he is scared of the danger, of the countless ways to die, of his own lack of courage. He asks if there were other summoners before him, others who called Kosak forth. Yes, Kosak says. They were strong and brave. Heroes who used their awakened abilities to save the world. Compared to them, Ju Hyuk feels ashamed. He confesses that he does not have the bravery to risk his life like that he is, in his own words, a pathetic coward. Kosak stares at him for a moment. Then his face lights up and he declares Ju Hyuk to be the greatest summoner of all. Baffled, Ju Hyuk asks what he means. Kosak answers that a summoner's greatest virtue is safety first. Bravery, he explains, is poison. A brave summoner is a dangerous summoner because they might die at any time. And if the summoner dies, their summons can never come out into the world again. So the ideal summoner in his eyes is not a fearless hero, but a cautious survivor. Don't you worry, Kosak says. I'll handle all the dirty work. You just lay low and live a long, long life. Summoner Bong. That night, sleep does not come easily. Ju Hyuk lies awake, turning over the same question again and again. Should he climb the tower or not? On one hand, he tells himself he should simply be grateful. His debt vanished along with the debt collectors. He could walk away from all this and live a safe, normal life, working steady jobs and staying out of danger. He tries to convince himself that if he just works hard, everything will slowly get better. But reality does not bend so easily. The next day, he calls his father. They talk about rehab and the need to transfer to a bigger hospital, only for Yu-hyuk to hear that his mother has been fired. His father tries to sound upbeat, telling him not to worry too much and to visit when he can so they can share a meal. As the call ends, Yu-hyuk is left staring at his reflection, caught between guilt and helplessness. In that silence, a new thought forms. Just the first floor, he tells himself. He was ready with a bat in one hand and a shield in the other. He will go in, take a quick peek, and come right back out. If it is dangerous, he can retreat immediately. He already took the day off from work. Maybe this is the time to at least see what the tower is like. Before anything else, he turns to the one thing he still hopes to control, his summon. He wonders if he really has to stick with the Psycho Cossack. Random summon might give him someone different. Maybe, if luck is kind for once, he could draw a legendary special super rare ally. He attempts a random summon, and is met with a cold system refusal. Skill is on cooldown, unavailable for another 28 days, 11 hours, and some seconds, nearly a full month. In the end, he has no choice. With a flash of light, Cossack appears again, saluting and thanking him enthusiastically for the 5 stars this time, eager to serve. Yu-hyuk glances away, hoping Cossack does not realize he tried to replace him. Gathering his courage, he announces that he has decided they will enter the tower. Cossack reacts with delight and concern in equal measure. He calls the decision brave, then quickly corrects himself, saying bravery is bad for summoners and that a brief taste of the tower is a wise approach. He tells Yu-hyuk to throw away crude, pointless items. Once inside, Cossack will act as his guide. He promises to ensure a safe entry and a comfortable stay where Yu-hyuk will not need to lift a single finger. At last, the system window appears before Yu-hyuk's eyes. Do you wish to enter Korea's Black Tower? The currently accessible floor is floor 1. Cossack stands at his side like a loyal, if deeply alarming, bodyguard. Well then, shall we go? He asks. Yu-hyuk swallows, answers yep, and confirms. The world around them shifts as the system announces that they are entering floor 1 of Korea's Black Tower. And as the transition begins, some last flicker of panic spikes. Yu-hyuk trying to say, wait a second, even as the light takes them. The world bends and twists. Numbers shatter across Yu-hyuk's vision, light tearing him away from reality. When everything settles, he is standing in a dead, endless wasteland. This is the first floor of Korea's Black Tower. Bong Yu-hyuk, a man who has spent his entire life avoiding danger, has finally stepped inside. The sky feels wrong. The ground is cracked and lifeless. The moment he takes it all in, his stomach turns and he starts vomiting. Behind him, John Cossack remains calm. He speaks in a steady voice, telling Yu-hyuk that he will get used to it soon and urging him to move forward, beyond the safe zone. System windows begin to chime. Yu-hyuk's physical abilities are adjusted to match his level. Traits unlock. Combat skills become usable. Even at level 1, his body feels different. Stronger, lighter, as if he has stepped into someone else's body. A mission window appears. Defeat 5 fat grubs with tough skin within 2 hours. Failure means death or abandonment. Ahead of him, bloated worm-like creatures crawl across the cracked earth, their bodies dragging heavily behind them. Yu-hyuk recognizes them immediately. The first floor is a tutorial stage. Fat grubs barely attack, but their thick skin makes them irritatingly hard to kill. Most beginners struggle to defeat even one every 30 minutes. Now, Yu-hyuk is a player too. He steels himself and steps forward, deciding to try killing at least one on his own. His resolve falters almost immediately. He has no weapon. Turning toward Cossack, he plans to borrow something, just enough to stab a grub once and gain experience. Before he can speak, a shadow rises. A fat grub lunges toward him. Fear overwhelms him, and he calls out for help. That single call is treated as a command. Cossack reacts instantly. He tells Yu-hyuk to step back, calmly calling it a wise decision, and walks forward alone. With a smooth, practiced motion, Cossack activates a skill. Blades of force sweep through the air. In a single moment, the battlefield is erased. The grubs are torn apart before Yu-hyuk can even understand what he has just seen. The system chimes again. Mission complete. Level increased. Reward granted, 100 grams of magic stone. Another notice appears. An S++ conquest rating. A platinum badge awarded. Ju Hyuk can only stare. It feels unreal. If things continue like this, he might become rich very soon. What he does not realize is that at the same moment, the same notification appears for every player in South Korea. Someone has completely crushed the beginner floor. While the awakened world is thrown into confusion, Ju Hyuk is pulled out of the tower. Teleportation snaps him back to his room. "So you return immediately after clearing a floor," he mutters, still dizzy. The entire mission took around 5 minutes. Others usually take the full 2 hours. He looks down at his reward, a small bundle of glittering crystals and a platinum badge. Magic stones reshaped the world decades ago. They power industries, economies, and nations. 100 grams sells for about 50,000 won, more money than hours of exhausting labor at any of his jobs. His heart starts racing. Grinning, he calls Kosak over. "Mr. Kosak, let's eat." They celebrate their first clear with food. Remembering Kosak's reaction to mild udon, Ju Hyuk avoids anything spicy and orders pork trotters instead. When the dish arrives, Kosak freezes. He sniffs the air nervously and asks if it is spicy. Ju Hyuk realizes the truth. Kosak is extremely sensitive to spice. Relieved to hear it is mild, Kosak thanks him again and again, praising his generosity. As they eat, Ju Hyuk notices Kosak's unusual speech pattern. His words sound polite and old-fashioned. Kosak explains that it is a habit he picked up from a previous summoner. Ju Hyuk jokes that it is like leftover influence from an ex. When Kosak offers to change it, Ju Hyuk refuses. He says it suits him. In that small, warm moment, something settles inside Ju Hyuk. The tower is not as terrifying as he once feared. The next morning, his life begins to change. He keeps his convenience store job during the day and his charcoal grill job at night. What he gives up are the harsh day labor shifts that barely reduced his debt. In their place, he adds something far more profitable: tower conquest with John Kosak. Between runs, Ju Hyuk constantly raises Kosak's satisfaction rating. Kosak smiles every time, thanking him sincerely. When Ju Hyuk asks why the rating matters so much, Kosak explains that higher ratings bring real benefits: longer manifestation time, higher rank, better chances of being summoned. Soon they stand before the tower again. They enter the second floor. The mission is simple: defeat 10 fat grubs with quick wits within 2 hours. These grubs move much faster, scuttling across the ground instead of sitting still. Ju Hyuk panics slightly, unsure what he should do. Kosak cuts him off, saying there will be no time to worry. They will be finished in 3 minutes. Ju Hyuk cheers him on, promising fried chicken once they return. Kosak brightens immediately. Moments later, the battlefield is silent. Mission complete. Another level gained. 200 grams of magic stone. Another S++ rating. Another platinum badge. Then comes the third floor. Before Ju Hyuk can even steady himself, it ends. Another S++ rating. The fourth and fifth floors pass the same way. 5 floors conquered in what feels like an instant. Then a new notification appears. 5 platinum badges collected. A special privilege is granted. The reward reveals itself: an awakened trait enhancement. Because of this, Ju Hyuk can now maintain 2 summons at the same time. By now, Ju Hyuk has reached level 6, and his status window finally reveals just how abnormal his growth really is. His summoning trait has evolved. Thanks to repeated S++ clears, it now allows him to maintain 2 summons at the same time instead of 1. And yet, despite this powerful upgrade, his summon catalog is technically still empty. He has no combat skills of his own, no weapons, no fighting experience. Even so, a single summoned being has been more than enough. John Kosak, the Mad Assassin, has wiped out every floor without exception. The thought of eventually summoning a second ally turns the tower from a place of fear into something else entirely. Not a death trap, a long-term investment. Random summon is still on cooldown, with more than 20 days remaining, so Ju Hyuk decides to proceed carefully until then, letting Kosak carry him upward while he enjoys his quiet, easy life between work shift. Tomorrow he decides they will challenge the 6th floor again and continue climbing steadily. Far away from his rooftop room, tension is building elsewhere. In Hannam-dong, inside the Korean Awakened Management Agency, team leader Jeon Gwang-il waits anxiously. Beside him, Section Chief Lee Min-ah reviews the daily reports. They're listening for one thing: the tower announcement. These announcements are broadcast to every player whenever something extraordinary happens. Lately, the Korean Black Tower's name has been echoing again and again. Always for the same reason: S++ clears. Minya appears behind Jeon without warning, startling him once again with a habit she refuses to fix. She confirms it calmly. Another announcement: an S++ clear of the 6th floor. Floors 1 through 5 were also cleared in order, all with the same rating. To the agency, that means only one thing: a single player, an unprecedented talent. Until now, Korea's best record barely reached A rank. Director Park Kyung-soo joins the discussion and lays out the danger. No one even knew a rank above A existed, and no one knew such clears would trigger global notifications. In the international awakened community, talent is stolen as often as it is recruited. If Korea does not act fast, this player could disappear. 2 days later, Joo-hyuk cheerfully announces to Cossack that today's target is the 8th floor. Clearing 1 floor per day has become routine. Up to the 10th floor is considered the end of the beginner phase, and for Joo-hyuk, everything has been smooth. The 8th floor mission is simple. Defeat 10 Red Thorn Frog Warriors. Cossack eliminates them with ruthless efficiency. The system responds as always. Mission success. Level up. 800 grams of magic stone. Tower exclusive healing potions. Another S++ rating. Another platinum badge. Joo-hyuk thanks Cossack, insisting again that he does nothing except enter and exit the tower. Cossack disagrees. Just entering, he says, is the hardest part. Still, he warns Joo-hyuk not to relax. From the latter half of the 10th floor onward, things will change. Today, though, it is another 3-minute clear. Joo-hyuk considers giving Cossack a gift. He even offers him 50,000 won to go out and enjoy himself. Cossack refuses immediately. He cannot leave his summoner's side. Absolute obedience. Embarrassed, Joo-hyuk changes plans and suggests ordering chicken instead. They choose the safest possible flavor. Sweet, mild honey cheese butter. Afterward, Joo-hyuk checks his rewards more carefully. The healing potions are stored away, but the magic stones keep piling up. 3.6 kilograms in total. Nearly 1.8 million won. By the 9th floor, Joo-hyuk is already thinking about quitting his part-time jobs. The 9th floor monster is supposedly dangerous. For them, it is effortless. Cossack makes victory inevitable. Joo-hyuk raises a drink and a small toast, thanking him sincerely, completely forgetting that this same man once wrapped human heads in red ribbons. Then he activates designated summon again. The system notes that Cossack's satisfaction rating has reached the maximum. This triggers another reward. Cossack's real-world manifestation time increases by 1 hour. Joo-hyuk cheers. Cossack thanks him calmly, promising to assist even longer. Soon after, they enter the tower again. The 10th floor. Joo-hyuk feels the difference immediately. Strength floods his body. Mana coils inside him. For the first time, he feels powerful. He turns to Cossack and declares that he will help in this fight. Cossack panics. If even a scratch appears on his summoner, he says, he would consider it an unforgivable failure. Joo-hyuk insists. Then the enemy appears. A massive mantis-like boss towers over them. Nothing like the earlier monsters. Joo-hyuk jokes that sending 2 people to fight such an insect might hurt human pride. Cossack says that is not the issue. When the battle begins, Joo-hyuk's contribution shrinks to a single shout. Cossack fighting. The mantis attacks. Cossack dodges, sprints up its claws, and unleashes a storm of slashes. The monster falls. The system announces success. 1 kilogram of magic stone. Another S++ rating. With the 10th floor cleared, Joo-hyuk qualifies for the 11th. His total stash reaches 5.5 kilograms. 10 platinum badges. A new privilege unlocked. The ability to copy one skill from a summoned entity. A list scrolls past. Before Joo-hyuk can think, Cossack speaks. Shadow Step. Joo-hyuk asks why. Cossack answers simply. If something happens, this skill will let Joo-hyuk escape. Joo-hyuk grumbles, offended, even as he confirms the choice. The system registers the skill. Shadow Step is acquired. He insists that quick footwork is not just for running away. Then he tries it in the real world. Nothing happened. No effect. No movement. On the 11th day, Joo-hyuk finally contacts the Awakened Management Agency. Nervous and stammering, he reports his awakening and asks about selling magic stones. The operator congratulates him and asks to visit his home. He agrees. For someone who has avoided attention his entire life, this feels terrifying. At the agency, Lee Min-ah and John Gwang-il receive the notice. Another applicant. They decide to investigate. They arrive at a rundown building and knock on a small door. Joo-hyuk opens it nervously and invites them inside. John introduces himself and Mina. As Mina looks closer, recognition dawns. Her heart starts racing. She leans in. It's you, isn't it? S++ Awakener. Section Chief Lee Min-ah leans in so close that Joo-hyuk can feel her breath against his face. Then she asks the question that makes his spine go cold. It's you, isn't it? S++. Inside, panic explodes. Does the agency have some hidden way to identify players? Did he mess up somewhere? His mind instantly falls back on the survival habit he has relied on his entire life. Deny everything and act normal. Out loud, he lets out an awkward laugh and says he has only heard about it, maybe. He insists it cannot be him, but his body betrays him. Min-ah notices immediately. The stiff smile, the frozen posture, the way his eyes dart away. It is the face of someone caught completely off guard. Team leader, Jian snaps at her, reminding her that he told her not to probe like that. She steps back at once and formally apologizes for the disrespect. Ju Hyuk exhales in relief, so it was a test. At least for now, they are backing off. As part of the standard procedure, they begin the orientation. A cheerful cartoon mascot named Tabby pops onto the screen, smiling brightly as it invites him to learn about the tower, turning the end of the world into a polished PR presentation. The video explains that 20 years ago, black towers appeared overnight across the globe. Each one was taller than any man-made structure, sealed off by an invisible barrier. No weapons, no science, and no military force could even approach them. Everything changed when players appeared. Awakened individuals discovered that the towers functioned like games, with floors that could be cleared one by one. Outside the tower, players were ordinary people. Inside, they became something else entirely. They gained strength, skills, and rewards that upgraded equipment, generated massive wealth, and even supported national economy. Then the tone darkens. If a tower goes uncleared for 6 months, a collapse countdown begins. When it reaches 0, the tower falls, and the entire surrounding region is destroyed. 3 years ago, the Mumbai Tower collapsed. The city vanished from the map. Korea, the video proudly claims, is lucky. It has only one black tower located deep in the mountains of Gangwon-do. With roughly 5,000 to 10,000 players, barely a fraction of the population, Korea has reached the 65th floor, just one floor behind the United States. The message is simple. Relax. Heroes are climbing for you. Newly awakened players like Ju Hyuk are told they are humanity's hope and encouraged to register officially and join the fight. The video ends. Ju Hyuk can only think how corporate it all sounded. Then the real questions begin. John asks if he is truly awakened. Ju Hyuk admits that he has entered the tower and cleared some floors. Quietly, almost reluctantly, he adds that he has reached the 10th floor. He places the magic stones he collected on the table. The room stiffens. The 10th floor lines up perfectly with the S announcements. Minna glances at him again and wonders aloud if he could really be the one. She asks if he has heard about the recent global announcement. Inside, Ju Hyuk gulps and tells himself to stay calm. Out loud, he laughs weakly and says, yes, he heard about it. He even praises the unknown player, calling them incredible, though his smile is clearly strained. His nervousness is obvious. Minna cannot decide whether he is just shy or deliberately playing dumb, but his constant fidgeting makes him look extremely suspicious. She moves on and explains their offer. Players are divided into 2 groups, the General Raid Team and the Elite Raid Team. General members operate freely, choosing their own schedules and climbing at their own pace. Elite members work directly with the agency, tackling higher floors while receiving funding, equipment, protection, and a steady salary. After all, outside the tower, players are still just people. To most, it would sound like a dream. To Ju Hyuk, it sounds like a nightmare spotlight. Then Minna asks the question that hits him the hardest. She has heard that he is a loner. Is it true that he has no friends? The words cut straight through him. He screams internally. He hates attention more than monsters. Then she adds that elite members are required to wear government body cameras during raids. That thought pushes him over the edge. He refuses. Stammering but firm, he says he will stay with the general team. He insists he is not talented, that higher floors are terrifying, and that he plans to stop at a safe level and quietly earn his share. To John and Minna, the answer is disappointing. Many players farm easy floors, but none admit it so openly. To them, resolve matters more than ability, and this man clearly lacks it. Still, they respect his choice aloud. They bow slightly and move to the final verification step. They ask him to enter the tower in front of them and do a quick run so he does not waste his daily entry. Ju Hyuk understands immediately. They're still testing him. He agrees and says it might take up to 2 hours. They reassure him there is no pressure and say they will wait comfortably. As he leaves, Minna quietly evaluates him. His posture is timid, his movements hesitant. She predicts he will give up around the 11th floor. She knows that floor well. The 11th floor is the centipede tunnel. Not difficult, but horrifying. 100 grotesque tunnel-tail centipedes must be killed. Someone like him will panic and retreat. Jian decides this is probably another dead end. Inside the tower, Ju Hyuk summons Cossack. The mission appears. Eliminate 100 tunnel-tail centipedes within 3 hours. He is horrified. Centipedes, 100 of them. It feels like the tower is mocking him personally. Cossack, unfazed, says he can finish in 5 minutes. Ju Hyuk stops him immediately. No speed run, no S, slow and steady, drag it out. Cossack understands at once and agrees. They move carefully. Cossack barely attacks while Ju Hyuk keeps telling him to slow down. Then suddenly, centipedes burst out from beneath Ju Hyuk. His legs freeze. Cossack steps forward, furious that such filth would approach his summoner. In seconds, the creatures are shredded. Ju Hyuk shouts for him to stop, but Cossack cannot. The first rule overrides everything. Protect the summoner. Blades flash, bodies fall. The tunnel becomes a storm of steel. Ju Hyuk tries to protest, too late. The system chime rings. Korea's Black Tower, 11th floor cleared. Rank S, platinum badge granted. Ju Hyuk curses under his breath. His plan is ruined. Cossack apologizes. He had no choice. They are forcibly ejected as the 12th floor unlocked. Outside, Minna and Jian wait. Only 5 minutes have passed. Then the announcement hits. An S++ clear. Ju Hyuk returns to the room. They stare at him in shock. He breaks the silence. He says he never wanted this, but now that they know the truth, they will have to stay quiet. Behind him, Cossack stands silently, black blades drawn, murderous intent filling the room. Ju Hyuk suddenly shouts, his voice sharp enough to feel like a death sentence. "You two, I need you to be silenced." The words leave his mouth with frightening clarity. In his mind, the scene explodes. Before he can even finish the sentence, Cossack moves. Steel flashes. Both throats are slit in a single motion, clean and merciless. Black ribbons wrap around their necks like grotesque decorations. Ju Hyuk freezes in horror. The severed heads roll toward him, mouths opening and closing, calling his name again and again. Bong Ju Hyuk, Bong Ju Hyuk, Bong Ju Hyuk. His breath catches and the vision shatters. Reality snaps back. Jian and Section Chief Lee see only Ju Hyuk standing in front of them, drenched in sweat, eyes focused, babbling frantic apologies. Minna softens her voice and asks if he is all right. Ju Hyuk gulps and admits that his imagination ran wild for a moment. He forces a strained laugh and insists he is fine. Jian clears his throat and steers the conversation back to business. The agency desperately needs someone like him on the elite team. He claims the 11th off-floor announcement must have overlapped with someone else's clear. An unbelievable coincidence, he says, praising the unknown player as amazing. Neither John nor Minna looks convinced, but suspicion is not proof. For now, they accept his denial and move on to paperwork. Ju Hyuk asks for a standard player contract. What appears instead makes his blood run cold. Not just elite contract, but something beyond that. An ultra-elite contract. 12 billion won annually. Luxury housing. VVIP treatment. Complete security. Legal immunity that places him practically above the law. These are privileges reserved for Korea's rank 1 player, and they are offering them to him like it is already decided. Ju Hyuk swallows. The rewards are overwhelming. So are the invisible chains wrapped around them. So he does the most Bong Ju Hyuk thing imaginable. He refuses, flatly. If it is not a standard contract, he says, then he will not register as a player at all. Jian is stunned by how violently he rejects the offer. Ju Hyuk explains quietly that he hates attention. Being watched exhausts him. Constant scrutiny feels just as terrifying as monsters. Later, Minna summarizes him in a single sentence. An extreme introvert. Climbing the tower is fun now, maybe. But it is only the 11th floor. The future is unclear. Backing off feels safer. A standard general team contract is prepared. To outsiders, the decision is maddening. Why refuse fortune and power? But Ju Hyuk knows the truth. Elite benefits come with elite obligation. Once you step onto that path, you can never simply stop climbing. All he wants is a better life, not to become a symbol. Back at the awakened management office in Hanamdong, Director Park is furious. He grills Jian and Minna, reminding them that they describe Ju Hyuk as timid and unambitious. That does not align with an S achiever. Jian insists the description is accurate. Ju Hyuk is, by every visible metric, painfully ordinary, and yet every S announcement aligns perfectly with his tower entries. There is no doubt who is breaking records. Director Park waves away concerns about personality. Talent is talent. The order is simple. Bring him into the elite team no matter what. Jian bows and accepts. Elsewhere, in a cramped rooftop apartment, Ju Hyuk is yelling, "I told you absolutely not." The target of his rage is John Cossack. Ju Hyuk explodes at him for almost blowing their cover again. He threatens immediate unsummoning if Cossack pulls another stunt. Cossack apologizes instantly, loyalty intact but clearly chastened. Then it is back to the tower. Floor 12. The mission is to defeat 20 ice icicle spear weasels within 3 hours. Ju Hyuk lays down strict orders. Slow, careful, no S. Cossack salutes and promises obedience. They step into the frozen floor. The cold bites deeper than expected. Even prepared, Ju Hyuk starts to shiver. Kosak notices immediately. He panics. To him, catching a cold might as well be a fatal disease. Ju Hyuk begs him to slow down. Too late. Kosak charges, shrieking about danger. Once again, the first principle overrides everything. Protect the summoner. The weasels die in a blur. The system announces another S clear. Later, when Min-Ah casually asks if he cleared the 12th floor, he admits it. He adds weakly that maybe the 13th will be hard. The 13th floor is a hallway of traps. One mistake could shred him. Kosak refuses to linger. Blades tear through mechanisms before they activate. Another S. The 14th floor brings a giant eyeball bat with wide-range sonic attacks. Kosak eliminates it instantly. Another S. At this point, Ju Hyuk gives up resisting. Whatever happens, happens. Then the best part arrives. Money. He checks his balance. 4.75 million won deposited just now. Magic stones from floors 11 to 14 weigh 5 kilograms. In 14 days, he has earned over 7 million won. If he reaches the 20th floor, he can earn 1 million won a day. No taxes, no fees. The next day, he summons Kosak again. Satisfaction rating stays at a perfect 5. Kosak is deeply moved. This time, Ju Hyuk changes strategy. From the 15th floor onward, no more forced slow clears. The agency already knows enough. If another S comes, so be it. Floor 15 begins. 20 goblin workers, the first humanoid enemies, cunning enough to call reinforcements. Kosak warns him to hide. Then he vanishes. Using stealth, he moves like a ghost, killing without being seen. Ju Hyuk watches in awe. He wonders if he will be able to copy that skill someday. The mission ends as expected. Success. Level up. Magic stones. Healing potions. Another S. This time, the reward is different. An owner emblem. He opens his inventory. 15 platinum badges gleam inside. The system announces a new privilege. At 5 badges, trait enhancement. At 10, skill copy. Now, at 15, a new window unfolds before him. A new reward appears in Ju Hyuk's inventory. An item called the Energy Shield Kit. The description alone feels like it was designed specifically for someone like him. A passive shield that automatically absorbs incoming damage. It only breaks after reaching a fixed limit, then fully recharges after 5 hours. Its durability increases as his level rises. To Ju Hyuk, it feels like wearing invisible full-body armor. Even better, it is not restricted to the tower. That single detail makes his chest loosen. Danger outside the tower suddenly feels survivable. Naturally, his thoughts drift toward money. If he sold it, how much would it be worth? 2 billion won? 3? For a brief moment, he seriously considers selling it immediately and quitting the tower altogether. Then another thought creeps in. If the reward for 15 badges is this absurd, what kind of monsters are waiting at higher milestones? He asks Kosak if clearing the 16th floor with another perfect run is possible. Kosak answers honestly, clearing it is feasible, but perfection is no longer guaranteed. From the 16th floor onward, difficulty spikes sharply. Even overwhelming power cannot promise flawless results. Ju Hyuk stares at the bracelet, torn between cashing out and pushing forward. Outside the tower, the silence has not gone unnoted. At the Awakened Management Administration, staff realize something strange. The global announcements have stopped. It has been 15 days since the last S notification. Their investigation shows that Bong Ju Hyuk has been farming the 15th floor instead of advancing. Some scoff at this, calling it proof that such talent was wasted on a coward. Others, including Director Park, remain patient. They believe he is simply preparing. Then news arrives. Ju Hyuk has contacted the administration and requested access to the player shop. Park immediately assumes he has been farming money for equipment. It makes sense. When they visited his home, he had almost nothing. Feeling guilty for doubting him, Park issues an order. When Ju Hyuk arrives, he is to be allowed to buy whatever he wants, at near giveaway prices. Back in the tower, Ju Hyuk faces a different problem. He wants to test his new shield. Unfortunately, the only person nearby is John Kosak. With painful hesitation, he asks Kosak to stab him. The assassin reacts as if struck by lightning. He begs to be executed instead. Or dismembered, anything but harm his summoner. Ju Hyuk snaps that it is just a tiny test. Kosak refuses to listen, covering his ears and chanting that he cannot hear such blasphemy. Finally, Ju Hyuk does something incredibly stupid. He stabs himself. Only afterward does he realize he forgot to activate the shield. Pain explodes. Blood spills. Kosak loses his mind. He declares the arm cursed and prepares to sever it immediately as penance. Ju Hyuk barely restrains him. The tower's healing effect repairs the wound. Both of them are shaken. Kosak swears that this must never happen again. As always, Kosak finishes in under 10 minutes. Left alone, Ju Hyuk practices his own abilities. He activates Shadow Step. The world shifts. His body moves lighter, faster. Distance collapses. Position becomes fluid. Now he understands why Kosak insisted on this skill. It is perfect for evasion, repositioning, and survival. Lost in movement, he nearly forgets where he is. A goblin appears suddenly. Ju Hyuk panics and shouts for the shield. The encounter ends quickly, but the fear lingers. Moments later, Corsac returns. Seeing the aftermath, he scolds Ju Hyuk mercilessly, checks him for injuries, lectures him about the dangers of bravery. Still, something has changed. After 15 days of farming, Ju Hyuk is no longer completely helpless. The numbers prove it. 22.5 kilograms of magic stones, worth over 11 million won. Satisfied, he contacts the administration to visit the player shop. They agree immediately and insist on providing an escort. Despite wanting to refuse, he waits. Team leader Jian personally arrives to escort him. The treatment is unmistakably VIP. At the administration, his biometric data is registered so he can enter freely in the future. The player shop is pristine and completely empty. He sells his magic stones first. The clerk confirms the value and offers immediate credit. Shopping drains him. He plans to buy only essentials and leave. Behind the scenes, Director Park has arranged everything. The shop is closed to others. Prices are slashed by 90%. Not free, because generosity that obvious would make Ju Hyuk uncomfortable enough to refuse. As he browses, the discounts are unmistakable. Items that should cost tens of millions are listed for a fraction. He realizes this is intentional. Part of him feels burdened. Another part feels quietly thrilled. The basilisk leather walkers catch his eye. Durable, stylish, perfect. Combined with the energy shield, they eliminate the need for heavy armor. He remembers his original promise, to stay modest and safe. The next day, he summons Corsac again. This time, he announces they will move on. The cooldown on random summon has ended. He can finally use his second slot. He tells Corsac they will summon another ally. Then he prays. To gods, saints, Buddhas, luck, and nonsense magic alike. He activates random summon. The system responds. Something begins to manifest. It is so strange, so overwhelming, that Ju Hyuk's first thought is not fear, but whether his security deposit is about to disappear forever. This manhwa is still ongoing, but for now, I've explained the first 7 chapters. I've mentioned the name in the description, so if you want to keep enjoying it in the future, make sure to like and subscribe to Manhwa Buddy, because we are your buddy.